as the guests start to arrive, I always say, hello there, welcome. Are you here for like John and Sarah's wedding? And they go, John and Sarah? I go, no. And their face just goes like that. And I go, good, because if you are, you're in the wrong place. This is Mike and Kelly's. And they go,
brilliant.
God, don't do that to me. Entertainment is really down on that pecking order, when really it should be a little bit higher, because it's one of the things that, yes, videography, photography, rings and all that is important, but also it's about, this is a whole day for your guests. I don't know if you know this, Chris, but top 3 fears in life. Number 3 is dying. And number 1 is public speaking, which means people would rather die than stand up and speak.
So what advice do you have for couples who are in early planning stages? They've almost got an open book of what they can go ahead and book. What should they be considering in terms of booking entertainment wise?
God, this might upset then a few of my friends or even suppliers have booked for my wedding.
Hello and welcome to the I Do's and Do Nots podcast. If you're planning your dream wedding, then this is definitely the podcast for you. I'm Chris Wardle. I'm a luxury wedding videographer from Lifestyle Visuals, and each and every episode I'll be joined by a range of wedding experts to discuss tips, tricks, the do's, the don'ts, all when planning your special and unique day. So let's get into today's episode. So Ricky, thanks very much for coming on to the very first episode of the I Do's and Do Nots podcast. Please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thanks. Looking forward to this conversation. So for everyone listening or watching, I am Ricky. I'm a professional magician. I should say an award-winning wedding magician, second best wedding magician of the UK, and professional magician, Emcee, and I'm also a professional speaker and the CEO of the Confident Club. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, obviously, you know me even more well because you obviously performed at my wedding.
God, yeah.
During most of the day, actually, because I think we took your MC package as well,
yes,
which was fantastic.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
I'm very familiar with the work you do. And yeah, compared to other people I've seen during my work as a videographer, you're definitely up there as one of the best ones. And with the MC add-on, I think that's such a worthy thing to purchase and add on.
We'll pay you later. That was arranged off air, wasn't it? So yeah, thanks, mate.
So the first thing I want to do in these podcasts is a bit of a get to know you segment. So we're just going to fire off some quick fire, one word or short answer questions to get to know you a bit more.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Let's go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So age.
34.
Hometown.
Whittlesea.
Are you married?
I am married. Yes.
Any children?
1.
Favorite color?
Blue, I think. Yeah.
Morning person or night owl?
I am a night owl. Yeah, massively.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Amazing. Oh, good one. Cats or dogs?
Biased here. I've got a cat myself, so it's definitely a cat. Yeah.
Cool. Dream holiday destination?
Oh, dream holiday. Oh, nice. I'd love to go to Tokyo. Love to go to Tokyo. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. All right. Favorite season?
Oh, nice. I'm not a winter man at all.
No.
Cannot stand it. So I think probably spring is quite nice. I like spring. Yeah.
Rap music or rock music?
Oh, definitely rock music. Yeah.
Introvert or extrovert?
I'm extroverted because of my job and mostly in life. But if you meet me in Tesco's on my day off, I'm probably quite miserable. Yeah, but extroverted all the way. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm most definitely introverted, but forcing myself to be extroverted.
Yeah.
And now we're going to carry on, probably another 10 questions or so, but these are much more wedding related. So,
okay. Yeah.
UK or abroad weddings?
Oh, UK.
Large weddings or intimate?
Large.
Country house or barn weddings?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm going to go for barn. Yeah.
Band or DJ?
Oh, this is going to upset a lot of my peers, isn't it now? I think DJ, because I had a DJ in mine. Yeah.
Traditional weddings or more quirky, unique?
Yeah, I think the more quirky ones are like, unique.
Kids allowed or not allowed?
Oh my God. I'm going to get in trouble on this one, Chris, aren't I? Oh my God, yeah. So I've upset quite a lot of my family with this one before, right, Chris, but I think kids allowed, but have something to keep them occupied. Yeah. But well, my wedding, I only had my daughter and no one else. We didn't invite any other kids. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
At our wedding, I had my twin nephews, and that was it. However, from a photography video side, actually, it's quite cute to have kids about, as long as they don't sort of interfere with anything major during the day, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Couple more then. Summer or winter weddings?
Ooh, nice. I think summer, because I think generally people are more happier. Winter, people are just cold, don't want to, hang around for photos. So summer, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and obviously it gets dark super earlier.
Yeah, so light's not great. Yeah.
It makes it very difficult for video photography when it's getting dark at 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's quite difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Speeches or no speeches?
Definitely. Yeah, you gotta have speeches.
You've got to have a speech.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wine or champagne?
Oh, I think wine. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of champagne, but I like wine, I think. Yeah.
Or I'd go champagne, I reckon. Ooh. Beer or spirits?
Spirits. Yeah.
We don't talk about spirits on my wedding. Yes. You probably left by that point.
Yeah, I think I remember it getting quite,
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, we won't mention that.
No.
Last question then. Leaving early or last person standing?
Ooh. As a guest or a supplier?
A guest.
A guest. I've got a daughter now, so I'll probably say leave early because I'm tired all the time. But I'd say usually it would be last person standing. Yeah, you got to wait to the end.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that was just a little segment to try and get to know you a bit more.
Nice.
Obviously, this episode specifically is around entertainment.
Yeah.
In general, obviously, you've got a magician, pickpocket, and MC background, amongst other things.
Yeah.
So you're almost a supplier that can provide multiple areas of entertainment. From my perspective, I think it's crucial that entertainment is one of your main priorities when planning a wedding.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you agree. So first of all, could you tell us a bit about how you first got started into magic and why specifically you went into weddings?
Yeah, great question. So initially, it wasn't the path for me, really. I wasn't like dreaming, I think, to do it. And I kind of left school with not really knowing what I wanted to do, was in sixth form, got asked to do work experience, already had a job working in the local Argos store as a weekender, and said to my boss, look, can I just stay here for the 2 weeks for work experience? And he said, yeah, sure, Ricky, we'll take you out the stockroom and we'll stick you on the tills for 2 weeks. So you know me, Chris, and what I'm like. I'm quite, jazz hands, extroverted.
For sure.
But whether you believe this or not, I used to be right in the stockroom. I wouldn't say boo to a goose. So he took me out of that and put me on the till, and I quite liked it. So I stayed for about 15 years in that career, working my way up the ladder, different roles such as stockroom team leader, customer service manager, eventually became a store manager. And then I started doing magic in between.
Okay.
So I started bringing magic tricks in the staff room, because my idea was that if I perform magic tricks for my colleagues, they'd like me, right? That'd be the great thing. What I didn't realize was that in hindsight, it was a terrible move, because the very first store I did that in when I was about 16, when I went back to that store about 10 years later to be someone's store manager, when I had to call someone into the office, they thought they were coming in to see a magic show and going, great, yeah. And actually it was me giving them the P45. Yeah, so that didn't go down very too well. But I started kind of just doing magic, getting a bit of a name for myself. And then I started the David Blaine-esque kind of style of magician and started doing street magic on the streets of Peterborough. And don't go out there for anyone watching this on YouTube. They're awful videos. They're just basically, you die, Chris, when you watch this, where it's like the framing's awful. My head's not even in the shot. It's just my hands. Mm-hmm. And it was really bad. But I started to get a name for myself. And then coinciding with working, people started saying, oh, would you like to do my upcoming birthday party? I was like, sure, never done one before, I'll give it a go. And then about 2015, 2016, someone said, would you come do some magic at my wedding? And I was like, sure, I've never done a wedding before, but let's go, we'll give it a go. Because I've always believed in say yes and then learn how to do it later. Yeah, I think that's a really great thing to work out. Yeah. And then, I started doing weddings, and my career started kind of balancing one side like this. And then I was going to like make the jump and leap and go full-time, wedding magician. And then I got a wonderful opportunity to get made redundant. So I kind of took that, and that was like the cushion to kind of survive on. So I could then go out there, what I didn't realise as a magician and a mind reader was that I would get made redundant 1 week before the national lockdown. So for anyone listening, and yourself, Chris, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2020, there was like a tiny thing that impacted the world called a global pandemic.
No, it didn't mess me up.
No,
too
it just
much.
flew by, didn't it?
Yeah.
It flew by. So that was a massive, shake up. And at the time I had like 30, 40 weddings in the diary. So I was ready to go. And obviously overnight gone. But that's kind of how it kind of phased out, balancing the career with a bit of magic on the side, and then started doing weddings and events on the weekend and then taking it full time.
So no furlough pay either?
Nothing,
'Cause you
no.
left.
I know. You kind of get to the point where you
Painful.
think, should I have done that? Do I regret doing that? But
How would you know? No one knew it was coming. And
no, yeah.
really hope nothing like that ever happens again.
Yeah, touch wood, yeah.
Because, same with me. I had a whole season wiped out completely. The next following 2, maybe even 3 years were a balance of trying to fit everyone back in, double bookings, getting people to cover my videography bookings so we could have 2 on the same day. I think probably at one point we maybe have had 3 in one day, which as the business owner is very scary. I trust my guys like a lot, but if they mess up, it's on my head, and it's someone's wedding, and you can't retake a wedding. So not something I'd plan to do again if I can help it.
Do you remember in 2021? Because I remember when weddings started to come back, and it's first started off, you could have 15 people, then it got to 30. And part of the government legislation was that suppliers had to be part of that number as well. And I remember having a conversation with someone saying that, Ricky, if we have our wedding and we still have you to come, it means that Uncle John can't come. So we're torn between, do we have Uncle or you? And I'm like, wow, that's a really hard decision.
Depends if you like Uncle John.
Yeah, that's it.
For some people, that's a great excuse.
Yeah. So, but yeah, eventually, started going back out, and I had to wear, full face visor and mask. And it was like horrific to perform in, but we got there. We're here now. So, yeah.
Well, we'll bring down the first episode with COVID talk. So moving on then swiftly, in terms of entertainment, obviously, I think we both agree that it's a crucial element. So where do you think that people maybe go wrong in terms of entertainment, planning it or not planning it, that kind of thing?
Great question. So I think quite often the stereotypical way of planning a wedding is that you would do your venue, you do your photography, videography, you get the main things sorted. Entertainment is always the last thing. Always, amount of times where I've had couples at wedding fairs come up to me and say, are you free in like 4 months' time? No, because
it's too late.
We get booked, so it's too late. But entertainment is really down on that pecking order, when really it should be a little bit higher, because it's one of the things that, yes, videography, photography, rings and all that is important, but also it's about, this is a whole day for your guests to make sure they're having fun. We know this, right? So, they get married, it's wonderful, we're all crying, it's beautiful, wonderful. And then after that, the sun's out, maybe you and the photographer wants to take them, get some nice footage or something, maybe driving down the car, down the, the venue road, or maybe you want to go out and, on the lake or whatever it might be. And at that point, just every guest will stand there just going,
it can be super boring for guests to attend a wedding, which that's the last thing you want. But often couples don't think about it, either don't want to pay for it, or maybe they're not worried because it's their day. But you want people to remember it. Obviously, you've got your video and photography to remind you in the future, but people's memories as a guest, like, surely you want them to remember it as the most epic wedding. That was the best wedding we've ever been to.
Definitely.
So it's hard to say, because obviously weddings are all different budgets, but I definitely think entertainment should be, like you say, up there with one of the bigger chunks of your budget allocation, for sure.
Yeah, hugely. And this is the thing where, so they always say about planning a wedding and, budget, and it's about smash that budget because it isn't going to happen. But it's one of those things that really needs to be a higher priority, because at the end of the day, it is such a long day, and, your guests are there to have a good time. And there are so many long waits. I always ask this question at wedding fairs, and I'll say, tell me a time, or tell me a time you remember at a wedding. And they go, oh, really long. Lots of lull moments, standing around, not really knowing what to do, starving because I've been traveling all morning, and I get there for like 12, and then dinner's not until 4 o'clock. You're like, what do
Yeah.
you do? So having something like me or some sort of entertainment to distract people, so they're not thinking about the weather, because that's all we do in England, right? We just moan about, like we moaned, it's too cold, too hot, it's raining, and we moan about when the food's ready, So you don't want that. You don't want your guests to be worried. Like if you're off having your photos, you want to have peace of mind knowing that your guests are having a good time, having fun. And there's that lovely little icebreaker that if they go into the wedding breakfast, they're pumped up, they're energized, ready. And you got that bonus of people being brought together, because depending on, the last couple of years, families haven't seen each other through lockdown, traveling abroad, whatever. So the first time that they're going to arrive and see at the wedding, they probably never met. And it's really uncomfortable. Like, who are you? And how do you know the couple? It's like, So actually having that nice icebreaker of the magician or some sort of entertainer to bring them together, it's a great way to kick off the wedding breakfast. So, yeah.
Well, absolutely, I agree. It's a great icebreaker. So, assuming someone books one of your bigger packages, talk me through what the day might look like in terms of the different elements you might be doing during the day at different points of the day.
So if it's like, so there's kind of typically, lots of magicians will have different styles of packages, but mine is essentially a reception drinks package, which is your entertainment, just for the reception drinks after your ceremony and before the wedding breakfast starts. Or you have like a half day or a full day package, which half day is technically from arrivals all the way to the end of the wedding breakfast, and then the full day is literally the whole day until a little bit into the evening when we're all dancing. But effectively with the hosting packages, I would be there on site roughly about an hour before the ceremony to greet guests as they arrive. And that's because when people arrive, typically they don't really know what to do or where to go. And also, you might have had this experience, like venues are fantastic at what they do, but quite often they're so busy, so stressed out doing what they need to do. It's nice to have another pair of hands to guide and direct, guests where they need to be. And I like to do this. So for me, we talked about quirky weddings. I like to have fun. So with all my couples, I'm very clear from the start to say, look, we are going to have a great day. We're going to have some fun. And I like to play a little bit of a joke. So when I arrive, as I'm all set up, I've done like my PA, wedding breakfast, all that sort of ready, microphones are ready. As the guests start to arrive, I always say, hello there, welcome. Are you here for like John and Sarah's wedding? And they go, John and Sarah? I go, no. And their face just goes like that. And I go, good, because if you are, you're in the wrong place. This is Mike and Kelly's. And they go,
brilliant.
God, don't do that to me. But what happens is, because guests are so like stressed, they've been driving, they've been traveling, it's just breaking that pattern. The amount of times I've done that, where I say, you here for John and Sarah's wedding? And they go, yeah. Wait, what did you say? They're just on autopilot mode, right?
Yeah.
So what it does, it allows me to break the ice to say, look, we're going to have some fun today. Calm your heart down. It's all right. I'm Ricky. I'm your MC. I'm going to guide you. So at that point, I make people feel really comfortable to let them know, look, this is like the main person you might see today. Going to make you feel really great. And I'm going to usher you into the venue. So that could be maybe a champagne bar. It could be the bar area, wherever that might be. Usher the guests there. So at that point, all the guests are arriving. Groomsmen, ushers, bridal party might be welcoming people. And then at that point, that's when the registrar or celebrant might arrive. If it's a registrar, I will then collect either the groom or if it's a bride and get them to go see the first person for the registrar. And at that point, start to coordinate and usher and get everyone to take their seats at the ceremony. The ceremony happens. I don't typically kind of go into the ceremony because that's quite sacred. It's a nice special moment. But straight after, I will help to usher all the guests out, and obviously the bride and groom or couple go get a drink, that kind of thing. And then I'm on hand then to break that ice with a bit of close-up magic, bit of entertainment, bit of pickpocketing, hypnosis, whatever that might look like, depending on, sometimes I set it up with like the couple and say, if there's anyone particular that might have some cash on them or something in their pockets, let us know and we can split the commission when I steal it from them. I do give everything back though, just to make that clear. But that's where at that point you might come into play, photos, group shots, bit of candid footage, whatever that might be. So to kind of break that ice, that's where I'll do all the entertainment. Then as it gets ready for like what we call the wedding breakfast, this is where I pull out a lot of the MC stuff and real have some fun, because there's a nice gap, and you'll know this from weddings. 3:30, I'll announce the guests to take the seats. 4:45 is when the bride and groom or couple comes in. There's a nice 15 minutes there where there's not really much going on, and everyone's just looking at their watches going, come on, I'm absolutely starving. Are they going to come take their seats? To break that ice and break that pattern, I play an icebreaker game where I get everyone, which you might remember from your wedding.
Yeah.
I get everyone on their feet. We start passing some items around the table, having some fun, and just kind of loosen things up to say, look, we're here to have some fun and we're going to have a great day today. And I always try to encourage people by giving a prize to the best table. So during the day, I'll often go up to the bridesmaids or the ushers and groomsmen, say, hey, I've been told that you're the best people here. So you're not going to let me down, are you? You're going to really go for it. And they go, yeah, Ricky, we won't let you down. So then it encourages for you and the photographer some really great moments of people having fun, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What it does, it gets the energy up ready. So when the couple come in, it's not people just clapping like seals.
They're super hyped
flat.
for it.
Yeah. And again, and there's always obviously a question of there might be some couples that don't like the center of attention, which is absolutely fine. So we always kind of tailor that for them because I don't want to make people go, please, Rick, I don't feel comfortable coming. That's fine. We'll make it really nice, but we'll then get them into a song that means something to them and everyone's having a good fun vibe, like I Be for party or whatever it might be. After that, that's where, whether this is the old age question, maybe there's an episode on this in your series about speeches before or after, because I know a lot of people.
For sure. We're definitely going to have an episode on speeches, if not multiple.
Yeah. So whether it's speeches before or after, during the wedding breakfast, I'll be there to do a bit of entertainment in between the tables and then get ready for the big bit, which is obviously the speeches, where I might perform a big trick to get everyone's attention and then compare all the speeches because most people are absolutely petrified about speaking. And I don't know if you know this, Chris, but top 3 fears in life. Number 3 is dying, and number 1 is public speaking, which means people would rather die than stand up and speak, right?
Yeah.
You may remember, who knows, right? So what that means is I can help to make it a really safe environment. I can get the audience to support and encourage each other, no heckling, that kind of thing, and just make it really seamless. After that's what we would then call the turnover. Everyone kind of clears out, gets some fresh air, and then we get ready for the evening. But essentially, in a nutshell, it's stress-free. There's a key individual, which would be me or an MC, that just is guiding the whole day through with the venue and all the suppliers and making it really fun so that the couple can rest assured knowing that they don't have to worry about where do we need to go next or what's happening. You've got someone that's just keeping it in check, but all the time having fun as well. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was exactly our experience as obviously your client, as the couple, and also I've worked with you on multiple weddings over the last few years as well, and experienced it from a videographer's point of view as well.
Yeah.
Is just having that person that firstly, there's always that guest. They don't go to many weddings, so they don't quite know what does come next sometimes. So there's that one person that knows the structure. It's introducing people. It just makes the day flow so much better and plugs all those gaps that could be really quite boring for guests.
Yeah, and totally. You've got loads of moments where, for example, generalizing here, but typically men, ushers, groomsmen, they really don't want to be doing like the welcoming, greeting. Some take to it like, duck to water and they love it. But most of the time they just want to, relax, make sure that the groom's in a really good place, having a drink, that kind of thing. And it just means that the pressure's off, but you can have fun, and this is a bit of a selling point. We talk about this at wedding fairs, that quite often venues are fantastic. So this isn't, judging any venue, but quite often it will often be a weekend worker or maybe 17, 18-year-old that is designated to then welcome the bride and groom or couple in to the wedding breakfast. And they're not confident people. And then the amount of times that me and fellow MCs have contacted venues to say, hey, the wedding's a couple of weeks' time, just checking in with you. Here's the plan. And they reply back and go, oh, thank God you're going to be there today because I absolutely hate doing this bit. And you think, oh my God, this is a wedding venue. But, these are people that are really more interested about the organisation of the day and getting it structured. They're not confident people that wants to do the ding, ding, ding and go, ladies and gentlemen, so give it to someone who is like a natural performer or entertainer because they are used to being in the limelight, but also being a confident person and taking people through it. So, yeah, it's a funny experience, that people... oh God, thank God you're here, Ricky. I really don't like doing this bit. I'm like, what? There you go.
So obviously as an entertainer, do you call yourself an entertainer or what would you class yourself as?
My wife might call me something different, but we can't say that here. But I think an entertainer first and foremost, because I'm here to make sure people are having fun and having a good time,
So what's the ways that, maybe you're more quirky couples or couples with sort of strong interests, what ways can they sort of incorporate some of their sort of personal touch to entertainment in any way, not necessarily yourself, but any kind of entertainment?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. So I think the old traditional route is there, which is great, but it's done and dusted, And I think it's now the time that, we've definitely seen the shift now where people are really going, I want to have the best day ever. I don't care about, I just want to make sure we have fun. So, I've had it before where I've introduced a couple in. They said, Ricky, we'd love you to play your game to get everyone hyped up. And then we're going to walk in and we've got a saxophonist playing. And can you tailor that? I was like, yeah, of course we can. And then where they've also said, and also, I'm going to do my speech, but would you mind playing a song like halfway when I give you the cue? Would you play a song? There's a song that really means something to our friends and family. And I'd like us all to do like a big chant. Like, yeah, let's go for it. Come on.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think quite often, and generalizing again, but sometimes there's the old traditional route. I think people just believe that you just got to do that. But actually, venues, suppliers are very supportive to say, we'll do whatever you need to. Within reason, obviously, we're not going to go into like, can I deliver a presentation for an hour? No, because it's going to go into food or whatever. But let's make it as fun as possible. So whether that's your introduction, whether it's a game, we've done a couple of quizzes before. Yeah. Did a fantastic wedding in December where they said, Ricky, would you mind reading out some facts about the couple? It's like, yeah. They gave me a couple of handouts of A4 piece of paper of facts about them. So integrated, made it really fun between the tables, had a little game, and it was great. So I think to the answer to your question, it's making it's a bit like that, be you, because everyone else is taken, Oscar Wilde. Just make your day as personal as you want, and people like MCs and that can make that happen. I know a lot of DJs as well that also host as well, and they're MCs. There's loads of great things. So we mentioned before, very lucky to do a celebrity wedding last year for Geordie Shore, for Marnie Simpson. And Rob, who was from Strobe Disco doing the hosting, he did a very similar different game. So there's loads of things that you can completely do to make it quirky. So don't be put off thinking you have to do a traditional route. There's loads of things and MCs can help you do that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and from our perspective as a couple, we chose to do Mr. and Mrs. It was something that I'd seen that at a few weddings.
Yeah.
It is not particularly unusual, but I really liked it, and I thought it was a good way to sort of add something a little bit different.
That was lovely. We did it outside as well, wasn't it? It was really nice. Sun was setting. Yeah.
Yeah, and you added some personal elements there. So it was really like a really personal touch.
Thank you. Yeah.
And the guests enjoyed it. You could see people laughing at the sideline.
Yeah.
And from, like a photography, video side, all these little extra bits, like you said earlier, the saxophonist and yourself there, dancers, anything like that, it all really adds to the video and sort of image capture element of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if you think about it, other than the ceremony and obviously busy dance floor, the rest of it is just people really stood around.
Yeah.
So you need that element of making people laugh, interacting with each other, making it look like they're having a good time.
Yeah.
And the entertainment element is pretty crucial to that and can really enhance like your photos basically as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the beauty of especially some of the stuff I do with like hosting, the wedding breakfast is one of my favourite moments because that's where I really come alive. And I will typically run into the wedding breakfast to a song because, when people are sitting down, it's quite a noisy environment. There's food, drinks, glasses clinking. So I'll play a song to get people's attention and say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And then that's when I come in. And because I've built loads of rapport up throughout the day, people know that, oh yes, it's Ricky, And I've had it where people have been trying to go, Ricky. And it's great, not just from the ego, but it creates such a nice environment where all of my couples go, oh my God, I've never been to a wedding like that where it was so much fun. I was not prepared to sit down to a wedding breakfast for like 2.5 hours and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? No. But having your games and these activities, Ricky, were really fun. And actually, they often tell the couple like for months and months after, like, oh my God, that magician, that MC was really good. I really loved that. That made it such a unique thing. And, there's so many things that happen in a wedding, but amount of weddings that you've been to, can you remember the favours on the tables?
No.
Can you remember any of the name cards? And there's nothing against that at all, but we know that people remember how you feel. So a lot of the things that I talk to my couples is based on the Maya Angelou phrase that people won't remember what you said. They won't remember what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And one of the things that I always do and try to incorporate in all my weddings is give them that feeling. People might forget, oh, God, what was that name of that magician that you had at your wedding? It was great. But I remember it just being really fun. And that's the thing that, that's what we can do.
Yeah. And who wants to be remembered for having a boring wedding?
Yeah, exactly.
Or they don't even remember your wedding.
Yeah.
It's no good. I mean, one of my sort of standout moments from the 2023 season, is when we worked alongside the Function Band.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen them or worked with them at all.
No, I've heard of it, I think, yeah.
Anyone listening or watching, make sure you check out their Instagram and YouTube and that kind of thing. They're called the Function Band.
Yeah.
They're quite a pricey supplier to bring in, but the way they sort of brought the venue alive was insane. Like, they are a band, but I think like a 9 or 10 piece band. They're in amongst like your marquee between the guests, or in this case, it was like a teepee.
They stand on barrels.
They were standing on these in barrels in the middle of the aisle, so they're above everyone. They've all got handheld mics, and they're singing like well-known songs. They're getting the audience involved. It is obviously, if you've seen it a lot of times, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
But as a guest that's never seen it, like people are walking into the room and they're like, "Wow, like this is amazing."
It's the experience, isn't it, that you're creating, isn't it? Yeah. Love that.
And everyone's dancing. They're singing well-known songs. The wedding I was at, they stayed for the whole day, so they performed the first dance. There's a few other companies that do a similar thing, but I think those guys are pretty much the top dogs in the industry in terms of evening and sort of early evening entertainment, afternoon entertainment. Yeah,
definitely. When the drinks are flowing, you need something to. There's a real British culture, isn't there? I know we do weddings abroad and stuff, but British culture is all about having drinks and fun, and dancing. So you need something that gives that bit of a musical element, which is a little bit what I do in my thing, but to get people ready and excited for the big part, which is the dance floor. Yeah.
And it's another way to bring in your personality as a couple, because they'll perform songs that are in line with what you like and potentially your guests like. It's just a great way. And I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought they were phenomenal to watch, even as a videographer. I was singing along behind the camera.
Yeah.
I know people that have worked with them, and I've seen it on other things on Instagram, and it's just the same thing every time. It's super reliable. You just know that everyone's going to have like a fantastic time.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what advice do you have for couples who are in early planning stages? They've almost got an open book of what they can go ahead and book. What should they be considering in terms of booking entertainment-wise?
Yeah, so I think a little bit about what I said earlier on is definitely to reach out early. That hierarchy thing is so important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Yes, I know photographers get booked up very quick, videographers booked up quick. There'll be some essentials you need to do, but entertainment really needs to be up that top piece as well. Magicians and MCs who are busy like me, we get booked up 18 months to 2 years in advance, getting inquiries at the minute for like 2026 and beyond. And you think, wow, God, and the work we put in over the years, the presence, it comes in quick. So it's really important to reach out to your entertainers really quickly. The side of that as well, I think, would be to also like check for social proof. There are quite a lot of entertainers out there as well that may be hobbyists or part-timers, which is absolutely fine. There's some really great suppliers out there, but I've had it so many times where a couple have got in touch with me to say they had an entertainer booked and then it's fell flat. They've either ran off with the money or cancelled. So social proof, reviews, photos that aren't like 5 years old, really current imagery, testimonials, Google business that are recent, to do the social proof and do the research, because you want to kind of get a really good aspect of this person. I find like Instagram is really good as well, because like you can, communicate, you can see their stories, how recent have they posted. If you're reaching out to someone and maybe they've only posted a year ago, then, they could still be good. That's not to judge them, but
how many weddings have they done in the last year?
Yeah.
Are they rusty?
Yeah. And we know as well, like especially what we do, word of mouth is so important as well. So quite often check with your suppliers, see if they've heard of this name or heard of that person. Venues as well are really good at offering recommendations as well. So ask your venues, do your research, check your social proof and get in early. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. And I always say that in weddings, there's a supplier for every budget. You can pay what you want within reason.
Yeah.
But as with most things in life, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And I always say, get the best you can afford. Yeah. I appreciate everyone's got different budgets.
Yeah.
But get the best person you can afford and book them early, basically.
Definitely. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so the last wrap up, a little curveball that we want to throw as the last question is what I'm calling the controversial question.
Okay.
And that is, if you were planning a wedding, what is the one thing or supplier that you think you can cut?
Oh,
You don't need.
Wow, this might upset.
It might be traditional.
Okay.
It might be a little obscure.
Oh, great. God, this might upset then a few of my friends or even suppliers I booked for my wedding. That's a really challenging question, that. And a good question.
Controversial.
I'm probably going to say, oh, God. So I'm trying to think of all the suppliers I had. So I think the real answer would be I wouldn't, because it was such a great day for my wedding. Oh, God, Chris, you've thrown a massive curveball here now.
Is there any elements, particularly traditions, that you think are just not essential in today's kind of wedding industry or wedding era?
I think, interesting.
For example, say something that might cost £600, £800, but that £800 is way better spent on something else that's going to add way more impact.
So I had a car for my wedding and it was fantastic. It was a 1974 E-Type Jag. It was
I
beautiful.
did see that, and for me, that's cool, and that's worth every penny.
And it was really cool, really worth the penny. We stank of diesel when we drove from home because it's like old. But I think as well, I probably would have used that on. It was really good, but was it needed? Probably not. It was just for my ego to make me look really cool. I know you had a really nice car as well for yours. But I think I probably would have put it into cliche, the entertainment. So my wife had booked my like one of my favourite magicians and really good friend of mine, Sam Fitton, for me as a surprise. We were constantly saying, no, we're not having a magician. No, we're not going to have one. Because I didn't want anyone to be better than me, like that, or distracted from me.
Yeah.
But it was so good. And I thought, God, that's brilliant. Maybe, could we have done other things as well to make it even more of an experience, more fun throughout the day? There was a couple of things like supplies that we'd booked where we didn't even get a chance to really see them. For like drinks reception, we were off, didn't get a chance to really explore it. But with Sam, he was there the whole day, like doing his MC piece like me. So I really kind of got to enjoy the whole day. I mean, there was one supplier we had, which was Crazy Golf, which was absolutely brilliant. And we didn't even get a go on it at all because
that's pretty common as a couple, though. I think there's a lot of stuff you pay for that you don't see or you don't utilize.
Yeah.
But as long as the guests have enjoyed it, I guess that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, it's a bit like booking a magician. You might not see him if you're just booking for a drinks reception, but myself and a lot of them, we'll always make sure we stay to do something special for the couple if they're off having photos. But answer your question, maybe the car. The car was really good, but it wasn't probably a need to have. It was a nice to have. So I probably would have used that money. I mean, I was petrified of crashing it or thinking of the cost that it would cost me after. But I probably would have put that towards like drinks or something like that. So maybe a band or something like that. But yeah.
Amazing. Well, Ricky, thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of the I Do's and Do Nots podcast. Thank you. Hopefully maybe see us again on the future episode.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, mate. Pleasure. Thank you.
Best of luck for the 2024 season.
Thank you, mate. And you too. Thank you.
Cheers.